There was a certain lady on Facebook who wanted to join live, but unfortunately, because I can't seem to be able to sort out my Facebook people issue, so she couldn't join live on Facebook. So last, she decided to join live by sending me, how do you call it? A voice note. So I'm going to be playing the voice notes for you guys. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, to send me super chats and super stickers. That's how you support. And of course, I'll be reading every single comment that comes with a super chat or a super sticker. If you're watching on Instagram, please remember to go to Facebook, search for Daddy Freeze, DADDYFREEZE. Scroll down to today's video on Facebook. Bottom left hand corner, you will see how to buy stars. Unfortunately, I don't have badges on Instagram, so if you want to support, you've got to go to Facebook and then buy my stars on Facebook. If you're watching on TikTok, big shout out to my TikTok people. TikTok, by the way, is one of my favorite social media platforms. I've got only one like on TikTok because it looks like everybody's just coming up with 13 likes now. Hi, guys. Double click the screen if you're watching on TikTok. Share the video. Double click the screen if you're watching on TikTok. Remember to follow my number one, follow my number two, and follow my number three gifter. I'll be announcing my number one, my number two, and my number three gifter. So we're going to. I need you, Biola, today. So, of course. So I'm going to, but we're going to try to make today short. House of Gold, God bless you. House of Gold is one of my biggest supporters on TikTok. Thank you so much, House of Gold, for always supporting. I'm looking for money guns, so come to TikTok and get me the money guns and support in that way. Once again, remember, double click the screen, like the video, and share the video. Follow my number one, follow my number two, and follow my number three gifter. So if you're ready, let's go. Let me play the lady's voice note, and I want you guys to judge the matter. So all of us go kuku sit down, and we go hear the matter, and we go judge them. I'm going to put it in such a way that you will be able to hear it. So I hope, okay, forward. So I'm gonna push it to this phone, so y'all can um, hear the voice note, and then let me just say hi here. Let me just do full. All right, so that's right. So the voice note is here. Let me make it louder so everybody can hear. And here goes. So, hello everyone, Sugar Destiny, Biola, everyone. Maybe I should wait 2 more minutes so we can have a full house before I start to play the audio. Because once I start playing the audio, I won't be able to play that again. So maybe I should just do that. So I want a house to be a little bit more full so that because I can't repeat the video twice. So if you're ready, guys, okay, I think we're good now. Three, two, one, and go. You might have to rewatch the video if you miss out the beginning part because you will not be able to make head or tail of what she is saying. So if we're ready, let's listen to the audio. We might not be able to listen to all of it because like 20 minutes, but at least let's hear her story and then let us all contribute. So here goes.
Yes, good evening, Daddy Freeze. I watch your program on Facebook talking about people bringing their wives to abroad. So there are two ways to it. People need to understand. It depends on the side that happened to each individual. Some people, they come home and marry their wife. When the wife gets here, she will start behaving in the Western world, like the women here behave. Or maybe as a wife, back at home, she was too young. By the time she get here, now she grown, then she started copying some things or started claiming rights. Then there will be no peace in the family. On the other side, some men bring their wife here because they know that they want a wife that is overly submissive, which they cannot get that from an American or European woman. You cannot tell European woman that you cannot help her in the kitchen. That is a sole job for a woman. You cannot tell European woman that what concerns you about how much I'm making. You have to share everything. You must be exposed. And that's how it's supposed to be. The left hand must know what the right hand is doing. The right hand must know what the left hand is doing. So, but some of our men, they know they cannot do that to an American woman. They will have problem. Then they will come home and marry a girl and bring her here, thinking that they can enslave that girl, or the African culture in her will not let her talk. In my own case, I got here over 20 years ago. I was a journalist with Abiola. After being a journalist, I stopped being a journalist. I went into business. My business grew so much. I won't mention the name of my business. People know me in Lagos. I was going to trade fair. I have 3 business. I have catering business. I have a building business. When the Abuja was about to come up, when they are developing Abuja, I was the one that supplied many of the roads, the building roads from Lagos for Central Bank and NNPC. I was a big time contractor back home, while my husband was in the medical field back home. But when he has problem with his family, his friend called him to United States. He came to United States. My business was growing bigger at home. When I met him, he has nothing. He has family issue. It's like the family want to enslave him, but because I'm a strong woman, they cannot control me. I'm not the type of a woman that anyone can control or push about. They hate me, not because I'm a bad person. I come from a good home, a respectable home. I respect people up to today. I respect them. I love people. But they pick and just some silly excuses, causing trouble in my life, which God always was there for me. I was doing my own thing, raising my kids and helping my husband, doing my business, complaining to no one. Okay, now his friend advised him to come to United States. He came to United States against my advice. My kids were little at the time. They were asking for their dad. They want to be with their dad. We moved here 21 years ago. Coming here, I was crying because I sold everything I got. I have no one to take care of my company for me. You know, even if you have people to take care of your company for you, it is not like you are on the ground. And in those days, 21, 22 years ago, Nigeria is not what it is now. The telephone system is not good as it is now. Even the cash carrying system, we always carried heavy cash all about. Transferring money and things like that, having a credit card. That time it has not happened like that. we are still a little bit in the past. Okay, when I got here, I was already a member of Chamber of Commerce at that time back home. I was a member of Nigeria of Association of Women in Business. I won't be mentioning some of my friends' name or big women in Nigeria now. So when I got here crying that my life, but I came here because of my children. My husband said, oh, stop crying. You will make fortune here too. At least you are a very good woman that can work and things like that. You have a good business ability. I said, okay. But my mind didn't tell me that. My mind was telling me that you're going to suffer. You will suffer a great deal. So within a year, I came back home. There was going to be a conference in Hong Kong. I came back home to get my visa from Nigeria because we were just here with a working visa in United States at that time. So they cannot give me visa to another country. I came back home with my Nigerian passport. I got my Hong Kong visa to go for that conference. That conference, our present First Lady was there. I was the one that helped, took everybody passports, Nigeria Association of Women in Business, plus our First Lady passport to go and get visa for Hong Kong. But because I want to meet them from America, I told them that, okay, I will meet everybody in Hong Kong. Let me go and prepare my children in America so that, because we are new in the US, I came to US real quick to tell my children to behave themselves while I'm away two weeks to establish my business to Hong Kong, Nigeria, America. I drew a triangle which never be. It was that date that September 11 happened in America. Because I have the attitude of carrying cash in Nigeria. My brain does not tell me to get like a traveling check or something like that. I was carrying $10,800 over 20 years ago. You know, that's a big money to go to Hong Kong. I lost everything at the airport because the September 11 that happened, the plane that was hijacked, my plane was to take off after the plane that was hijacked. It was a chaos. I don't want to go into details of that September 11. When people are watching it on TV and crying, my children will say, people are crying. What of my mother that was at the scene? Everybody thought I was dead. It took us like 3-4 weeks before they can give us phone cash to call our family, those people that were still, that survived at the airport. We were sleeping on the street. I don't want to go into detail of September 11. To cut the story short, I lost everything. My money, my clothes, my luggage, everything. But my life was alive. I was alive. I came back to the village where my husband is in the United States here with my children. I don't know what to do. I was perplexed, crying, not know what to do. I started looking for a job with no proper paper or anything. I went to a restaurant like a slave girl. I started like a slave girl in a restaurant. Some Nigerians will see me laughing at me. They will say, oh, Ewolowo Nigeria, ó mà ti ń ṣọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ ilé olóúnjẹ. Ẹwọ ẹni tó pè lólówó Nàìjíríà, ó mà ti ń ṣọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ ilé olóúnjẹ. Ó mà mọ̀ pé Amẹ́ríkà le gan. Okay, I was doing it. From there, from the restaurant job, packing the plate at the restaurant, getting minimum. At that time, I asked my husband, he was a medical doctor at home, but here he couldn't pass his exam. He has been a doctor for almost 20 years back home, but it's difficult for him here because he came here too late. The system, the school system and everything, this does not just work out for him. Okay, from there, I work as a laborer, building house with them. From there, I work as a welder. As things are going on, we were looking for papers. Eventually, we got our papers. Someone advised him to go for nursing, that we can have our paper through nursing. He went back to school. We worked together to get our papers. I worked my butt off raising 3 kids. We got a house. I got a house, but I put his name on it. He said it will not be possible. I said, my God told me it's going to be possible. To cut the story short, I raised my 3 kids like a widow in his presence. An African man, I will not know how much he's making. I'll be suffering, begging for food everywhere, begging for clothing for my children. But I will tell my children that if anybody asks you anything, don't tell them anything. We always look happy, covering him up. Even in our place of worship, we don't let people know what we are going through. My children always happy, look happy, even if they are hungry. I suffer a great deal. If I make a book, Daddy Freeze, you will not be able to read it. You'll be crying. To top it up, after a year or 2, after losing all what I had, and I got pregnant in the 40s, my life was devastated. I have 3 I cannot take care of. I got pregnant now. I have my American boy. He's going to be 20. He is 20 now, and I'm 62. When I was making so much trouble, my oldest son told me, Mom, I'm about getting to university. Stop making any problem. God gave you this child. When he grow up, I will help you take care of him. Because the suffering was just too much. But all glory to God. God is bringing me back to life. But yet I'm not happy. I raised my 3 kids through university in the presence of my husband like a widow. He's eating out of home. When he has money, we don't know what he's doing with his money. When we ask him, he will turn it to fight. A woman has no right to ask his husband, how much are you making? Or what are you doing with your money? My children suffer a great deal. All glory to God. I have doctors. I have a teacher. I have a psychologist. I raised those kids without his help. No good medical card or insurance or anything. He will not be responsible for anything in the house. And we are covering. I suffered. I cannot even tell my mother until when my mother came to United States and see how much I'm suffering, and she started crying. I said, you dare not cry. You dare not cry, mother. Because if I run back home, you will send me back. That's your choice. Because you are a Christian mom. You will send me back to keep enduring. I almost run mad. I went through a serious depression. That they put me on medication and this man doesn't even care. If I get sick, he doesn't care. If I did surgery, he doesn't care. To cut the story short. If I ask anything, he will turn it to fight. At the end of the journey, my child that I had in the United States here, who's going to turn 20, my oldest is 36, who's going to turn 20, had some medical issue. As usual, this man is not responsible to take care of his child. Some nurses, some people helped me to get government help. When I got government help, government now look into things. You know, everything is computerized in Nigeria, in America. They said, what? A man making so much money like this, why can't he take care of his son? They now put us into query. They wanted to take us to court. but I fight it along with God. They said, okay, the case was reduced to some amount to pay, which it doesn't pay. I'm still paying it. But they told me that he has to leave the house. Because by the time they are counting him as the head of the family, then my son cannot get government medical card again. And he's not ready to do insurance. So that his son, a 16, 17-year-old child who is having heart problem, can get good health care. I even advised him that, okay, you may not leave the house, but you go and rent a small house outside. Put your name on it. Like that is where you are living. But you'll be coming home, do as the head of the family and everything. I didn't know he was ready to fly off. He packed all his load, go and rent a luxurious apartment. From there, he bought a house for himself now, in the same small village we are living. He went about telling people that I'm a bad woman. I'm tearing up his clothes. When my grown-up children hear this, even all the children, even the younger one who is 20 years of age now, they were crying. They said, Daddy said that. I said, yeah. Because my children know what I've suffered. And the American government want me to bring him up to book, to take him to court so that they can forcefully help me be getting something from him because he's making a great deal of money. I said, no, God always fights for me. Up to today, Daddy Freeze, I'm still suffering, but God is turning it around.
Hmm.
When he left home and he told me that I will suffer, I will come and beg him for money. At the age of 47, I went to nursing school. I told them that it's been a long time I've left school. I had my bachelor's as a journalist. I would have gone for master's in journalism, but I may not get a good job. I said, that's why I'm here. I want to see if I can do nursing. They said, well, we need to test you. They tested me and I passed. I said, what? I've left school over 40-something years ago. They said, you passed. It is hard, but it's doable. I went through it. He thought I won't be able to come out of it. I
Hmm.
passed. I became an LPN, licensed practical nurse. That's what I'm doing right now. Now, at the age of 61, going 62, I'm back in school again for my next level of nursing. Nursing in this school, in this America, is harder than medical school. Hard. Nursing school is hard, with money and everything. It's hard, but it's doable. In my first nursing class, we were 59. It was only 19 that graduated. Only 19 out of 59. People
Hmm.
would be dropping like flies. Nursing give you money only if you can work. If you cannot work, you will not get the benefit out of it. But if you can work, you will get some things out of it. That is where many of our women go into that nursing. If they can weather storm the true school or any medical line, like be a respiratory tech, occupational therapist, physical therapist. That is why they go to, because medical line, they need people all the time. It's a job that someone cannot say because of your color or because I cannot understand your English, then fire you. No, they need you because it has to do with health. So now, to cut the story short, a man that I suffer for in Nigeria all my life, that I married him when he was 30, when I was 25. I was suffered at home by his family and by him. I came to United States here, the African man attitude still in him. Up till today, I cannot say this is how much my husband is making.
Hmm.
It is end of the year when we are trying to do taxes. That is when the children will see what their father made last year. And the children will be asking me, what did daddy do with all that money? I will say, ask me again. And we suffer in this house. And you are begging for food everywhere. And you go to every church to get food for us. And I will do 3-4 jobs sometimes. And he has been doing only one job. I asked him to do more jobs so that he can help me. He said, agbára mi ò gbé o. I cannot do it, agbára mi ò gbé. After all the children graduated from university, he now started taking 3-4 jobs as a nurse. 3-4 jobs as a nurse, you make more than doctors. He is making about 4,000 to 5,000 every week, and we don't know what he's using the money for. And his family told me in the past that whenever it's good for him, he will abandon his son and his wife and abandon everything. He will face them completely. Maybe that's what is happening. I'm not sure. Maybe he has a basket that is dropping the money. I'm not sure. Even to the point that people, the elders in the congregation, that I just told them what is happening in my life, they could not weep, they could not cry. Those who were sitting down could not stand, those who stand could not sit. They said, what? For years, and you always smile, and you are even helping other women in the congregation. And your children are very good example in the congregation, and you raise them well, and they all become good. What? I say, yeah. Because I need to let them know, because I always lie. When they ask that, why did he not come to church? I will say, oh, he's at home. Then I had to open up for them that he's not at home. He left the family. He's now living on his own. I cannot continue lying like that. So can people now see that not every woman that you brought to America, I mean, their stories are not the same. Not the same. Not just the same. We cannot generalize it. And here I am, having my own story. I've seen some young women brought from Nigeria now turn to something else. Abusive to their mother-in-law, comparing themselves with to white women or American women that does not give their husband the rest. You know, they don't go. If we all go by biblical sense, what the Bible say a man should be. The Bible say a man should love his wife like his own body. Something you cannot do to yourself, if you don't do it to your wife, life will be okay. And the Bible says when you do that, that is when you have a deep respect from that woman. But African men, they want to have that respect without giving love. They want to be worshipped. Women are going through a great deal here, a lot, from our men. But when they marry American women, they cannot do that to them. You will see them taking care of these American women like gold. And the American women will be saying, oh, Naija husband good, oh, Naija husband good. And they'll be advising themselves that you better get Naija husband. When Naija husband marry Naija woman, they will treat her differently. They will treat her like rags. Some bring their wife here. They will say, nursing will bring money. Oh, you must go through that nursing. You must become that nurse. And they want to stay home for a wife to become a nurse and be doing everything, and yet submissive to them. Drive 1-2 hours to work, be on your feet for 13 hours, get back home, because your 12 hours will run to 13 to 14 hours if you're a nurse. We have 8 or 12 hours job here. I've worked 20 hours straight sometimes, 20 hours straight. And your husband will expect you to come back home and still kneel down, cook food, and kneel down for him to be chopping, to be eating the food right in your hand. And still come home, come and do all his laundry. still come and tidy up the house, still come and do 100% of housewife job, when he has a lesser job that he can help you, that you are bringing more money home, they still want you to go all through that. Life is not like that. The Bible does not even say we should do it like that.
All right. I
God
think
does
we
not say
have.
we should do it like that.
I think we've heard the bulk of the story. A very painful story. So before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please remember to send me super chats. If you're watching on TikTok, send me those money guns. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. If you're watching on TikTok, you enjoy the story. It's not easy. It's not easy. Eh? If you're watching on Facebook, oh, Dela Musa just sent me a money gun. Thank you so much. Dela Musa is my number one gifter. Everybody follow Dela Musa. Remember, follow my number one gifter. If you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen. All right, start double clicking the screen. I'm going to open up the phone lines. Double click the screen. Double click the screen. Double click the screen. Someone said, if you enjoyed the story, well, it's infotainment. You enjoy the story and then you learn a lot. A lot of people are saying they wish they could hear from the man. I also wish I could hear from the man too. Um, Someone say, "Una they lie even DF." I know they lie anything. If you're watching on TikTok, remember to follow my number one gifter. Yes, big shout out to my number one gifter. The only person who has gotten me a money gun, Delha Musa. Okay. If you're watching on Instagram, go to Facebook, search for Daddy Freeze. That is DADDYFREEZE. Scroll down to today's video, click on the video. Bottom left hand corner, you will see how to buy my stars. So I'm going to bring in a few people so they could share their thoughts. First things first, let me start with Ada. Ada, who is a blessing. Ada the blessing. I saw her earlier on. She fit done wrong. Go. Then Tolu man. Let me also bring Tolu. Ada,
Good morning, boss. Please let me dress up.
as usual.
But I can be talking, right?
And be talking as you are dressing up.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I mean, it's quite complex to get involved in matters like this because honestly, we've not heard from the man, and it would have been fair, in all fairness, if she also stated her flaws. Because I don't believe anybody in his right senses will just decide one morning, we just wake up one morning and become a beast. All right. It takes two people to make something go sour, except an outright devil. And from the story he narrated, it didn't sound like she contributed at all in the problem, the relationship problem, in making it crash. So it's somehow difficult because if that man was all that she claimed he was, why was there the relationship in the first place? Because the signs are always there. You cannot tell me he was an angel while you guys were courting, dating in Nigeria, and drastically he just changed into not being supportive, and so it's somehow difficult. Sorry, I just had to get A90. It's somehow difficult to like just go with the flow, right? With everything to get a rope, everything that she just narrated. But again, there might be some truth involved, but you also need to understand that when most people narrate a story, they tend to play the victim 80% of the time. Right? Yeah. Every storyteller wants to gain people's sympathy. It takes just a few persons to actually say, um, that yeah, this thing's fault. I contributed 20% into this thing. getting to this level. Not everything totally on the man. So at this point, I think it's only fair we hear from the man's angle. Yeah.
All right, Papi Prof, we have you in the building. What is your take on this matter?
That this is I greet you. How are
And
you?
by the way,
I'm
Papi
fine,
Prof,
thank you.
thank you for always
How are you?
contributing.
Yeah.
Thank you for always
I
contributing
don't
to
have
my
too
money
many
guns.
things to say about the situation. Um, Number one, marriage institution is a very difficult institution, and everybody have different story. You understand? And when it comes to marriage situations like this, women tend to have upper hand when it comes to talking about the marriage, something like that. But the truth is, for me, Nigerian culture, Nigerian culture is different from Western world culture. You understand? In Nigeria, definitely you have, say, you have almost about 70% or 80% right over the woman. But in abroad or in Western world, it's 50-50. You understand? Both of you guys have to work things out, also together, and here in the Western world, the mistakes that we do is that we forget that in abroad everybody is independent. We are trained to be independent. You understand? So everybody works. And okay, let me go back to the woman. The woman, she does. I don't think she sounds like maybe she's trying to sweet talk. Things happen. This country to Western world can be very frustrating. You get what I'm trying to say? The man might be at fault, or the woman might actually be at fault, but it's just lack of understanding. The understanding that they could have when they were in Nigeria is different from when they are in abroad. How this thing. And over here, you just have to assist your wife because there's no family like in Nigeria. You should have kids. A lot of people that have kids in Nigeria that have 3, 4, 5 children. You can't have 3, 4, 5 children in abroad, and the woman will not complain. No help, nobody to support them. So those are the things that actually cause issues. But Baba, everybody has different story that you cannot even compare. The right thing might be the wrong thing for me. For some family, okay, if I want to say, okay, okay, that is a very lovely girl, you understand? Yeah, fine. But everybody have different ways of handling situations. So God will help them. I believe God will help them. But there is really nothing because until we actually hear from the man, we cannot say, oh, this is how everything is. The man too has to talk because I definitely will have his own side of the story. He will have his own side of the story. So.
Hmm. Ada, what is your take? Papi Prof, by the way, once again, thank you so much for always supporting me with money guns on TikTok. Papi Prof, they always buy my money guns. Now, better guy. Okay.
Your platform is so educating.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Explicit Vibes was around yesterday. More hear from him. And then let's hear from Biola. Biola, if you're here, let's make this happen. So, all right, go ahead. Explicit Vibes, how you doing, brother?
That is Freeze, I'm good. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just give my opinions based solely on the story she told. Um, so first things first, I was listening and I was trying to analyze what the problem could have been, right? So if anybody understood what she said from the get-go, she listed her entire achievements, right? I believe strongly that if I'm gonna deal with a woman, right, and you lead with your achievements, right? I'll probably not go into that relationship. Now, she mentioned, working with Abiola, doing all these big and wonderful things, right?
Mm.
You should be able to separate your life ambition from your family goals. I get my point. I think one of the things that got her frustrated, right, is the fact that she felt like she's living a below par substandard life. Her statement was very clear. She already programmed her mind that she was going to suffer, right? That being said, it doesn't matter whatever the man has to say as the husband of the household. It will come across to us slave. That's one. Two, this idea that, you know, because you come to America, you go to school, you do all this extra stuff, right? As punishment. Everybody's going to go through one thing or the other when you're striving to make it in life, be it in Nigeria, be it anywhere else. I don't think there's anybody that's come to the United States, which I'm in, right? And we don't have a story to tell from their grassroots to where they are, except if you are like born with a silver spoon. I get my point. So all those things they went through as a couple, because in a story they both went to school. He was trying to get his degree, failed at different attempts. I've seen people that have tried their nursing degree 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? It might be the fifth time they get it, right? But the thing is, when there's lack of patience sometimes and understanding, things like this can happen, right? Another thing you will notice from her statement is that she said she bought a house and refused to add her husband, right, to probably the mortgage or the title of the
Well, I
house.
think she said she used his name.
No, she said she bought the house, right? And they asked her to have him as on the title, and she said no. See, one thing you need to understand is when you listen to that story carefully, there are things the man probably was enduring as well, right? Why they are trying to pick up in the United States. But as a man, most men will not, really speak up. But for her, I'm guessing that she's seeing her husband as not doing enough, not trying enough. She has been all these things that she claims, but now she's no longer that. So he must be the sole reason for all our problems, right? Now, as a person, Ada, think about it. If you were in the man's shoes and your partner already has this disdain for you, thinking that you are the problem, right? How do you think they're going to react to you in the house? If you say you're going to, okay, go ahead, please answer that. How do you think they're going to react?
We really can say that was like obviously what happened, right? But the person you asked, if that's actually what happened, I mean nobody will tolerate such.
All right,
But
cool.
we can't really say that was what happened. And from the comment section, people are saying that she mentioned that she played his name, and I heard that.
Okay, well, I heard something different. Anyways, what I just want to say is this: this ideology of slavery and punishment is getting old, right? I was on the live yesterday, and I really cannot stress it enough. It's really, really getting old. There are other cultures in the U.S., right, from other places that live in the U.S., but they never lose their culture. They don't consider their culture as being slavery or oppression. I get my point. Right now in the U.S., there's a movement, and that freeze, you can check it out. There's a movement called the Passport Bros. I don't know if anybody has heard about them. These are viral American men getting passports to travel overseas to go find wives because they themselves cannot deal with their own women in the U.S. But I find it funny that our women will come into the U.S., right, switch up, want to be this self-proclaimed independent woman, don't need no man, right, and expect that the Nigerian man in the U.S. will be okay with that. And I also disagree with this narrative that a man would be in the U.S., go bring his wife here for the sole purpose of enslaving her. It doesn't add up in my mind. Because for one thing I know is anybody living in the U.S. knows the laws, right? I know very well what domestic abuse, okay, I don't want to say that word, but what DV is, right? What DV is, I know what it is. I get my point. So I know that if I do anything, it could land me in court, it could land me in jail. So if I'm going to go bring my wife from Nigeria, right, to the US, I'm very positive my mindset will not be like, I want to now go ahead and abuse her. It doesn't make sense. What I believe is this: we have a culture, we have a tradition, and we want to uphold it, right? But I see in many instances where our women decide that, okay, now I'm here, I want to imbibe a different culture. There's nothing wrong in you and your husband assisting each other. There's nothing wrong with your husband being the authority in the household. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we push it away. And I'll give you a very clear example. The Hispanic people in the US, right? They have a similar culture like we do. They are very family oriented. The man is the head of the household. They work together. He brings food home. The wife also works, right? But you hardly see them switch up. You hardly see them leave their culture or their tradition, right? I have a lot of them where I work. Anytime we have family day, they come with their families. You see their kids everywhere. There's so much respect. So the woman's story is clear that she's heard about certain things, but I don't think, according to the title of the live today, I don't think the man showed her any shade, right? All I believe is that there was a switch in the dynamics of the family,
All right, all right.
and she didn't like that.
All right. Hold on a second. First things first. Big shout out to YH who sent me $2 and said, "May the caller experience what she experienced." Please, oh, you know, reach like that. Oh, thanks for sending me the super chat on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, remember to send me stars. If you're 670 watching on Instagram and nobody has gone to Facebook to buy my stars, Instagram people, you are looking for my trouble. I'll move over to, because guess what? For this particular audio, I did not even need Instagram. Everybody heard the audio at the same time. If you're watching on TikTok, remember to double click the screen, share the video, and send me those gifts. Send me the money guns. My top 3 gifters, I will give a very big shout out. Engineer Toby Martins, my number 3 gifter. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to you, Engineer Toby Martins. Thank you so much. My number 2 gifter is Dela Musa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, my dear brother, Papi Prof, since we've heard from you, can I please ask you to exit so Biola can come in so we can hear from her?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Now, before you leave, okay, thank you, brother. While we're waiting to add Biola, I'm just going to say something, yeah. And here's what I need to say. In as much as I'm not going to take any point from the gentleman who spoke, I must say something. Even Western people are tired of Western women. That is a given. One of the reasons why I have not relocated abroad, forget the fact that I'm lazy around the house and I don't like to do housework, which of course I'll be forced to do if I lived abroad, is Western women are not a representation of women, but they stand as a representation of women. I'm gonna make this. You see, America is not the greatest economy in the world. They make themselves the greatest economy. They're not. They're not the most powerful nation on earth. They just come and they swell and they cause trouble up and down. They make themselves to be. So because of America is like, I'm looking for the proper example. America is not half as powerful or economically strong as they claim to be. They are just very good actors because they dominate the entertainment you consume. You see America as one of the world's biggest and best. America will come and you watch America. You don't watch Japanese movies. You don't consume Japanese content. You consume American content. You listen to Tupac. You listen to Ariana Grande. So your favorite actors are Americans. You watch their movies. In their movies, they are subtle brainwashing strategies they use to capture the whole world. So you start thinking like you're an American, even if you're in Nigeria. There was a time in my life, one of the criteria for me dating a girl is, do you watch movies? Once the girl says, I don't like movies, I will date her. Nigerian movies will tell you Nigerian movies are also a problem. It's always juju, church, and they try to dumb you down. Because for you to believe the nonsense in a movie, you have to be as dumb as the people who are acting the movie or as dumb as people who wrote the script. The American way, on the other hand, is they will teach you how, and guess what? Most of their actors came from the ghetto. Sometimes the American movies don't even show the American life. So you watch a movie and you think, this is how they live in America. In fact, I'm packing my bag, I'm going to America. Only for you to get to America and see that is a far cry from what they're representing. So when you listen to people like my top G, Andrew Tate would tell you as a man, never marry a Western woman. Go to those villages, go to India, go to Africa, find a wife there, get her pregnant, marry her, don't take her to the West. And yes, Andrew Tate might be a half loony. You understand? He might be a half loony, we know. But we can't all be seeing the same things and then still falling into those traps. A lot of people don't like Andrew Tate, but you need to understand that Andrew Tate is a representation of toxic masculinity, but we Africans evolved from toxic masculinity. Our religious books, our traditional cultures are, how do I put it, embodiments of toxic masculinity. The average African man decides not to send his child to school and still wants the child to respect him. The average the average Nigerian man will go into polygamy even if he doesn't have money. So at the end of the day, we need to understand that when you relocate abroad as a Nigerian woman, you tend to change into what you see there. The culture will influence you. The way you behave at home is not the way you're going to be. Because you see, Yoruba people, they talk one thing, they say, "Enti da oti te lowo ko le bere kuto pa beni." When sword never touch your hand, you know if you ask, we think your papa. But you see, once you don't reach abroad, you don't see it's a small power, don't dey your hand now. You go begin to question things. Say, come, why must I do this? Why must I do this? Now, a lot of people go abroad to better their lots. And when you go abroad to better your lot, especially if you are coming from poverty in Nigeria, you will tend to overwork. You join the capitalist race. You work 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day to make, and you see, the money looks big because you are changing it to Naira. If you convert it into American money, it's really nothing. But you are working so you can build a house back home because the Americans you are living with are not your people. Your people are back home. $100,000 is 75 million Naira. Not 75,000, no. 75 million. From 100,000, you go to 75 million Naira. So you are still thinking, oh wow, how much I can do back home. So you are putting yourself on undue pressure. Me, for instance, I'm the kind of guy that wants to live abroad and chill. I'm going to have to abandon my extended family. For Naija where I dey safe, I don't abandon them. Because I know, say, me where I never begin they swim well, una go carry me go underwater. Just check this out here. Sometimes here in situations, you literally have to knock people out to save them. Because if you're swimming, there are some people who not, they will pull you. Do you know the best swimmer in the world? If he's in a boat that capsizes, 90% of the chances he will not survive unless he's able to start literally giving people punches and kicks. Because when you are drowning, you are looking for anything that is floating. and you will hold on to it. So imagine a man who is trying to stay afloat, but then one person hold his hand, one person holding leg, one person holding belly, one person. How you want to take swim? Now sometimes when someone can't swim and they are, you literally sometimes have to slap them to calm down so you can save them. But you see, because most of us Africans abroad are like the only ones swimming in our family, those who are drowning will drag you down no matter how good a swimmer you are.
Even if they don't intend to, but
Yes, and naturally by Africans, we are, how do I put it? We are, I'm looking for the right word. We are people who expect things done for us. There's a word for it.
you mean like
We're entitled.
dependent on each other?
We are entitled. That's the word I was looking for. We are entitled. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and the person was like, what has the government done for civil servants? And I said, why does the government need civil servants? If I became president of Nigeria, the first set of people I will sack is all civil servants. Go and go home. Let's create a capitalist industry, a capitalist world. Why do I need the civil servants, as far as I'm concerned, are the biggest pocket drain of a government? Aside the military, the police, maybe LASMA and FRSC, everybody else go home. You guys literally wake up, come to work at 8 a.m. in the morning, and by 4 you are closed. If you were running your business in Nigeria, will you close at 4? If you were running your business in Nigeria, will you close by 4? This is my own business. It is 2:10 p.m. How many people, when you go to the banks, you'll be amazed that there are people at work in the banks now. There are people at work, people in their internet department, in their networking department, their engineers, they are at work now. The average civil servant will believe that not only the government owes them a salary, the government also owes them a pension. It is one of the reasons why Nigeria is the way it is. The government does not owe you anything. What the government owes you is light, road, security. Anything else, the government does not owe you coppers to give them jobs. In America, the government will not give you any work unless you want to work in Washington, D.C. So the average Nigerian is entitled. He's always looking for what somebody will do for him. I remember when I used to work at Cool FM, I used to have some colleagues that back then my boss had an Audi. And one of my colleagues would come and say, hey, how come my boss drives an Audi and they don't have any cars? I had to remind them the price of land in Victoria Island. I'm like, when my boss was buying this land in Victoria Island, did your father give him 10% of the money and say, my son is going to come and work for you 10 years from now, so I'm sowing into his... No, let's have this conversation. Then my boss would fly business class, or and then the people would say, because I was a staff, so I was hearing the rumors around the office. Oh, these people are taking good care of themselves, but they are not taking good care of us. I used to remind them then that I'd worked there for 5 years. My salary was never late. What care do you? Oh, you expect them to, as they are traveling abroad, they should carry you with them. What is your contribution to the organization? So you see, it's the average Nigerian mentality. And when Nigerians go abroad, they carry their mentality. They don't drop it at the border of any country they enter. They enter with their mentality. That's why we're all running away from Nigeria. Oh, let me go somewhere where something can be done for me, instead of what I can do to contribute to the upliftment of my country. No. Let me just go and be a nurse. And look at this. Yes, of course, the government has a serious problem in this. But let's also think of doctors who are going abroad to become nurses. because whatever is available they will offer you, you will jump on it. So we also need to work on the Nigerian entitlement mentality. It is a very, very big problem. And not just in our marriages, but also in our general ways of life. So let me bring Biola. Biola that said she was coming, she didn't even send a request. Let me send her an invite. So I'm waiting for you, Ada. What are your thoughts? In the meantime, sorry, I need to give a big shout out to Kevin Letherly, who sent me 20 US dollars, and Justina Rogers, who sent me 10 US dollars. And Legend, who sent me I think that's Zimbabwean dollars, if I'm correct. 14 of those. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so happy with the way you guys are just showing me love on YouTube tonight. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, buy my superstars, super chats, and my super chats. If you're watching on TikTok, my money guns and my gifts. And if you're watching on Facebook, please do get me stars. Coco Boy music. Coco Boy music. Ada, say Coco Boy with me. Say Coco Boy. Ada, why don't you want to say Coco Boy? My brother, say Coco Boy.
Coco boy.
Biola, say Coco Boy.
Coco Boy music.
Coco Boy music. Oh yeah, Ada, say Coco Boy.
Coco Boy music.
Ada, wait till they happen. Justina Rogers sent me another $10. Thank you so much.
In this car. If you own this car, you will live in it. And I'm not going to show you my house. No. Don't worry.
But you can show us the car. Show us the car. Let's see the car. Let's see the car so that they can understand.
Hi, Biola.
Hello, how you doing today?
Hello. You're welcome.
I come in peace. I come in peace.
I receive you a piece as well.
I love you all. Okay, where do I start from now? The woman's story was quite sad, and unfortunately, it's her reality, and she is absolutely correct. Everybody experiences different things when they relocate abroad. That's one fact I want to state here. But in saying that, some women experience it tougher than others. I'm a lucky girl, extremely lucky, and I'm happy to say so. Do I respect my husband? Absolutely. Do I respect Nigerian men? Yes. Do I respect some Nigerian men? No. Because the truth is, when you relocate abroad, either as a man or a woman, you understand that the difference is clear. Nigeria, I will say it again, like I stated yesterday, Nigeria does not favor women. And there is more to life than being a mom. Being a mom is quite interesting. It's a blessing. It's lovely. But by the time you leave Nigeria, you understand that there is just a lot going on. You can't sit at home all day with the kids. It's draining. In Nigeria, you have helps. You have maybe your mother or your mother-in-law come around to help you, neighbors, whatever. Wherever you want to get your help, you'll get your help. But when you relocate abroad, it's not the same thing. And I'm going to say it here again. It is not the same thing. Nobody should argue with me. Nobody should fight with me. Explicit vibes. Don't come for me.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm loading my questions.
That's why I said I come in peace.
I'm loading the questions because I'll ask you some questions.
Okay. When you relocate abroad, it is not the same thing at all. And this is where the problem starts. That's why I said something. I'll keep referring to yesterday because I know I made some points, but everybody was everywhere. We're all arguing and blah, blah, blah. We couldn't hear each other. But when you relocate abroad, you need to have that conversation. I can't emphasize on this enough. Have that conversation with yourself, your husband and your wife or whoever you're relocating with. Have that conversation. Money is important. Being a workaholic is going to happen. And when that happens, you all are going to be MAD
that conversation. Now back to the woman's story. I listened to it and I kept on saying, oh yeah, she's right. Oh, because I have heard the stories before. People look at me as, oh, Bella, you're lucky, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Of course I'm very lucky. But there are women who are having and facing these realities abroad. That is the truth. And some men just change. I don't know what it is, but they really, really change. Somebody dropped a comment here earlier today, and she said something. Why is it that when the men get married to some people of other nationalities, they treat them very differently from when they marry Nigerian women? Really, why? And that is, you see them everywhere on socials. They create social media accounts, YouTube, wherever, and they're doing couples goal or couple goal and all that whole stuff. Why do they treat the other women or the other nationalities different from how they treat Nigerian women? Why can't you give those Nigerian women the same respect, the same attitude you give to the other nationalities? I don't know, I can't answer that question, but maybe someone will answer the question.
I can answer it.
Oh, no, hold on, you answer it, but let me finish. Yeah, so they go abroad and everything just, I don't know, everything just happens so quickly. Everybody starts misunderstanding each other. Nobody knows who is earning what. Sometimes I wonder, so how do you guys live as a couple? The lady is right. The man probably, okay, she could be right, she could be wrong. Because she didn't tell us, hold on, not explicit. I'll fight with you. Look, stop. She could. Why I said she could be wrong is because she didn't tell us her own faults. Look, I mean, I'm not somebody who just blames men all the time. Don't get me wrong. But then again, men should be questioned, with all honesty, especially when they relocate abroad, because in Nigeria, they're seen as the kings, the ogas, the bosses, and all that whole stuff. And then women are like second or third class citizens, so blah, blah, blah. But when they relocate abroad, it's just totally different. And then everybody starts asking each other, who is the boss? Oh, I'm earning more than you. You can't, you need to respect me. Give me that level of, something like that. So it all becomes a crazy situation. That's what I was saying. Where did I stop with the story of the woman?
I was about to
I can't remember.
I'm just waiting for you to finish.
Hold on. So, yeah. So, anyways, she relocates with a man and other hosts. They probably did not have that question. And she had a lot going on with her in Nigeria, her businesses and all that whole stuff. And then she travels abroad and just says that, oh, it's a different life here. And I have to start from the beginning. That's the reality. A lot of us have better qualifications abroad. Well, not us, not me. But then travel abroad and start doing what the people call afofure or I don't know, that's what.
Afofuro work.
That one. And that's the truth. You have to start from, some people have to start from somewhere. And some people, it just gets easy for them depending on what qualification they travel with. And that's one thing everybody has to be careful about. What is your qualification? Is it just about traveling abroad? What is your qualification? Just don't go abroad. You're going to suffer. You're going to pack. That's the truth. Anyways, and then probably she and her husband had that situation going on, and they couldn't come to terms and stuff. And then the man probably had something going on with himself because, like she mentioned, he was a medical doctor, if I can remember, but couldn't find it easy. Men have their own frustrations. That's the truth. And if you don't understand that the man is also frustrated at this point, him not being able to get his qualification just the way he was in Nigeria. If he can't get that, it frustrates him. A man wants to be a man. A man wants to be able to provide and all that. But whereby he has that, what will I call it now? Whereby he has that setback, it's crazy. And then he sees his wife doing way better than he is doing. There is no way in this world the man will be happy with his wife doing better than he is when he hasn't achieved what he has to achieve. So I'm not sure if they had the conversation, but from what she said, I don't think they had that conversation, and it just went all over the place. But now, another question I want to ask you, men, how are you so much in bad situations in marriages? I'm not judging, I'm only asking a question. How are you in so much bad situation in your marriages, and you still get pregnant? How? You hate someone
somebody so much, and then you still remain in the marriage, and then you still get pregnant. How is that even possible? But that's aside, I'm not judging. But there was just a lot going on with her story, and I couldn't come to terms with it. But the
Before Ada, hold on. Before you say something,
no, it's true. No, what she said is correct. The truth is what she said. That because that's her reality.
hold on. Before you say anything, Ada and explicit vibes, I'm gonna say something here. You see, there is this half and half righteous mentality that we adopt, we Africans. Why are you sleeping with a guy who is not taking care of the kids? You are now forming a good wife. You cannot be a good wife to a bad husband.
Exactly.
It is a problem. Now you are sleeping with this guy, but you are sleeping with him unprotected because he is your husband. The same guy is not taking care of you. The same guy is not doing what he's supposed to do at home. But then you adopt the Nigerian mentality of for better, for worse. Okay, understood. You are still staying in the marriage because you don't want whatever reason why Nigerians stay in silly situations they call marriages. My problem is you insist. Get a rubber. Wear a rubber. If the rubber busts, Postino is 500 naira. In the UK, girls go to the clinic, they will give it to you free. They will rather give you free morning pill than for them to help you raise a child. The government has realized how stressful it is to raise children. So they will rather just give you free morning pills and free contraceptives. You are living with a man inside the house. What happened to you inserting a coil? What happened to you? This man is so bad, but then you still an open leg for him. This man is so bad, you are opening leg without even popping a morning after pill. That means you were doing it regularly. That means the intercourse was going on regularly. Because if now one off, say, okay, he catch you for bad place one night, you go just the next day, nobody go tell you, you go run. But when they do them, he can't enter bola. I have a problem with that. And I have a problem with women who are enablers. As long as you sit down with a man who is behaving badly, you have no right to complain. The government came and said he was earning so much and were not willing to foot the bill of your house. Why didn't you rat him out? Why did you cover him up? Rat him out. Let him take the fall. Why are you taking the fall and then you think that's righteous? I don't think that's righteous. I have no problem with women submitting to men, but who are you submitting to? Let's discuss that. Who are you submitting to? When you submit to it, because submission also comes with a man being responsible. When a man pays the bills, when he stands up and does things, even if he decides that, okay, you know what, I'm not going to wash dishes, but he's paying his side of the bills. He's taking care of business. He is a good father to his children, but then puts his foot down and says, I'm an African man, I will not wash dishes for me. Is understandable. But a man who refuses to do his, an African man pays bills and then he puts up his legs and says, I'm not going to wash plates. You now want to put up your leg and not wash plates without paying bills. Your wife is running the home. You are not an African man. You are a useless man. If your wife is running the home and you still expect submission from her, it's not that you are sick or handicapped or unemployed. You have a better job than your wife, but then you are a useless man. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Repeat after me, all of you. A useless. Let's establish facts. A useless man. Listen. For a man to put his foot down, for a man to put his foot down and say, you know what, I want to be an African man. Let me tell you something. When Taste Buds was writing about me on her birthday, she said, I'm her ATM. I don't do anything around the house. it comes with a lot of responsibility. I must be able to take the lion's share when it comes to certain things. If not, na insult to. E go cause insult. Say, wetin do your hand? Why you know if you go wash that plate? So there are certain things that as a man, if you do not do, you go to collect, you are setting yourself up for insults from your wife.
But
And
Daddy, please, can I contribute something?
yes,
I also want to.
Wait, I also want to. Wait, we have
Today, I'm
Bibiola, now see how they call you now.
Today, peace befall us all today. I want to make amends. Daddy, please, I have a question for people, families. Why is it that you guys are living in so much penury and then you keep giving birth to kids? Don't you know that kids bring poverty? No, nobody should come for me. I'm just letting you all know. Many kids equate poverty unless you're so rich, unless you can afford them. But please, stop populating the world. If you cannot afford these kids and later come and start complaining. I said something yesterday. There was a country where if you give birth to kids, the government pays you. Yes, keep giving birth. What people were doing was they were producing children, producing them like rats. At the end of the day, that benefit stops. What then caused problem? Who will stay at home and take care of the kids? You give birth to 6 children under 7 years. And now you all are looking for who stay at home and take care of the kids. The man says, I cannot pay child care because child care is about $50 or $150 a day or something. How will you afford $150 for a day for six children, about 6 children? And then the argument was, who will stay at home? So why did you then give birth to all those kids when you don't have the means of taking care of them?
no, Biola, I want to round you off because we've run out of time and Ada still wants to talk. I'm going to say something. Yeah. Some of our mentalities are the problem. Me, I've always been pro Komot Bele because I lived in the ghetto and I saw children suffer. I will never, ever, because a woman, whether married or single, I will never say a woman has to bring a child to this world because she's pregnant. Sit down and think of yourself. Are you emotionally capable? Are you financially capable? Some people say, if you're not emotionally capable and you're not financially capable, why did you sleep with somebody? Okay, you've slept with somebody. You've committed one sin. Must you commit another sin of bringing a child into penury and suffering? People have always decided, I've always had this. As long as it begin at 1 month or 2 months, if you're not ready, come out. Because I have seen children suffer. I have seen children starve. And then you tell me that that child can be the future president of the country. What you are doing is you are creating a damaged child who will be a damaged president. That is why so many of our billionaires are damaged. That is why so many of our success stories today are damaged, because they were raised in a damaged system. Even though they overcame the damage never fully left them. And then they go and marry, and then they transfer the damage to their wives and to their children. So here's my take on that. What if the woman got pregnant and the man say, look, we don't need this pregnancy now. But the woman say, lie, as a Christian, I cannot remove this. Now, all of a sudden, imagine now, I don't want another child. My wife now gets pregnant. My wife now says, no, we must have the child. Then I'm not showing the responsibility needed to take care of the child. Remember, I did not want the child. You wanted it. It's no longer us. It is now your choice. But because you've brought the child to the world, you can now say, my husband is not taking care of that child. Did you actually sit down with your husband to plan the child? Can we start talking like we're no longer in the Stone Age where we are guilt tripped by sin? The sin of committing one belly, you wait from morning till night, you commit sin. It is now that sin of one belly where you want to come out to protect a child from coming into a loveless, stressful situation, putting both you and the other children and the husband in stress. I want to also have a conversation about that, because in as much as we are blaming the man, we also need to start talking to our women. One, you are in a bad place, close your leg. If you must open your leg, you insist that he wears protection. If the protection breaks, or perchance the protection failed, or he didn't use protection, go and get a morning after pill. And should a pregnancy arise in a loveless situation, you don't need to bring that pregnancy to full term. Let's tell ourselves the truth.
Thank you so much. Please, can I just give my submission so I go
Yes.
to sleep?
And all of us too are ready to go to sleep. So you say
Okay.
something,
Yeah,
and then
Fiona,
explicit will just
so you
end.
said something, though, that the face also said it for, I mean, I've had it in mind to speak on before. He said, when people are in a loveless relationship, I need you to understand that it's almost impossible to take out the S. Yeah, it's almost impossible. Let's be honest here. We're all adults. Even people in an abusive relationship, they still have that makeup S. Right? So my point here is, I'm not going to fault them that they were still having it here. But now the problem is she should have gotten rid of it when she got the result that she was pregnant here. So you cannot just take that off. No two adults can live in a house. Some days it will be cool, some days hot, and then you expect that not to happen because it's loveless. That's a black man's life, we're going to be honest, right? That's one. And secondly, I think it's also unfair that we are putting all the blame on this man. We've not heard from him. Yes, you mentioned that the man does not reveal how much he earns to her, how much he earns. She doesn't have that information. Now let's ask the question: what kind of a woman are you that your husband would deny you that information? Take for instance, DF. This God knows how much he makes. Why does she have that information? Because she does not abuse it. There are women that the moment they know how much you earn, I bet you regret giving them that information. No one is the saint. When I listen to people narrate their stories, I'm always like, okay, when you're done, let me listen to the next person, because then you will get a different story entirely. No man loves you and then denies you that information, because in the scheme of things, women are pretty more calculative when it comes to handling money, the smart women. But if a man hides it from you, probably, maybe while they were dating, when the relationship was sweet before it turned sour, she abused that privilege. Tell a woman you have $10,000. That's when she remember her mother's roof is leaking. She needs a bag. This one is this. Then you have 2,000 naira. You see that the billing will not be based on the 2,000 naira information that she has. So women are not. I'm sorry, I'm a lady, but some women don't need that information, right? That's another. And what else? I mean, too many conversations. I've missed out on some points that I was trying to say, but again, a relationship cannot just wake up one morning and go sour. I've been not married, but I've been in relationships, and if there's anything about me, when I misbehave, when I have my own BS, I always say the truth. There were times I've reported my relationship to the Chris, and I always tell him, I did this. In all fairness, DF, I did this and this. Then why did you? Not everyone has that. From everything she said, there was no fault from her. You cannot be that perfect. And then when your husband wakes up in the morning and turns into a demon, how? Neglects you and the children, deny you the financial information. Come on, there's something you're not just saying. It's not adding up. I know I'm supposed to be empathetic. The story is coming from a woman and all of that, but I'm at a level where I don't care about gender. I think men go through a lot as well. So I also need to hear from the man, because I cannot just wake up one morning in a relationship and then say I don't love you anymore. You're probably doing something wrong. You're probably doing something wrong as well. Someone said that on your breakfast, Mela. Yeah, see, it made me wiser. Now I know things better. All right, it's all peace.
All right, explicit vibes. Your take finally, and it's 1 minute, so we round off.
So this is why, younger women, they get it. Eh? Younger women, they understand. I'm not coming for older women, no, but the thing there is, I think when you're setting your ways, sometimes it's hard for you to get out of it, right? And you're very strong-willed. You don't want to listen to another opinion. Anything everybody believes is right. So, guys, ladies out there, please be careful the advice you hear. Now, for the question I was going to ask you, Auntie Biola, do you consider yourself an humble person?
Have you met me?
I'm asking you a direct question. I don't have to meet you for it.
You need to meet me first.
Okay, good. So the reason why I say so is this, right? When you analyze a story or you hear an event from one side, I think it's always best for you to pick out the information and piece it apart without always including your emotions into it. Because half the time you just run with your emotions and you feel like, well, she's a woman, she's suffering, she's in hell, this and that. I want us to change that narrative. It's been too long and it's so old, right? And I want to stick the story to Nigerian men in diaspora. We understand how Nigerian men are in Nigeria. We can say, okay, there's a healthy mix of the good and the bad. But we are getting this negative portrayal of Nigerian men in the US, which, like you have said, other women appreciate.
This is
them,
where I
right?
fault you. This is where I have a problem with you.
Please, I
You're
don't want to cut my
referring to the
time.
US.
Ma'am, I don't want
Okay.
Let him
I
finish.
if you are humble now, you said yes.
Peace,
So
peace.
I want us to change that narrative, right? Because I believe strongly that if a man decides that he wants to relocate his family to the US, and he has the funds to do so, he must have worked for those funds, right? And he's putting those funds into his family to relocate them to the US, one, to be closer as a family unit, right? But this whole idea that you people keep selling to us that these men in diaspora are going to Africa to bring their women to turn them into slaves, it doesn't add up, right? This is 2023. In the US, everybody, both male and female, have equal right. Any woman in the US that decides that she wants to be, or let me put it this way, any woman in the US that is a housewife chose to be a housewife. I promise you that. Because guess what? The law is in our favor. If she wants to work, she will work, right? And if a man decides to invest in his wife, to pay for her education, for her to, to be able to make income and everything, it doesn't necessarily mean that, now dynamics has to change when it comes to the family. The income shouldn't just change the dynamics. Because women always say that men are afraid of their wives making more money than them, right? And that if he just said that a man that is not taking care of his role financially cannot command respect. So where do we fall in these dynamics? That is why at the end of the day, I believe strongly for the Nigerian men in the US, which I'm speaking for, and in diaspora, who are taking the pain to bring their families to come join them and even investing in their women, at least they deserve some level of respect. Let's drop all this American, Western feminism balderdash. It doesn't help, right?
I'll interrupt you a bit. I'll just quickly, just briefly interrupt you a bit. Now, I think you, some of you react to the things you want to react to because I said a whole lot of things. And just to correct you on something, I listen to both sides of the story. I don't just listen to what women say alone or what the man has just. No, I listen to both the woman and the man. But the majority, of course, you have to then react to what the majority is saying. And the majority in this instance is the woman or women. And I think from our conversation in the past 2 days, the conversation we've had for 2 days now is what must have triggered the lady who had to give us her experience. Which, yeah, because if she hadn't heard all these things, she wouldn't have been so bold enough or brave enough to drop that voice note for that phrase. I'm letting you know that maybe men might be having it tough, but it's tougher on women. I'm just letting you know. And it's only when they come abroad, again, we appreciate the men for bringing their families abroad. And we also appreciate women for bringing their families abroad. So it's both ways. So when these people relocate abroad, they then realize that, look, we can't do it the Nigerian way. We're not even in Nigeria. We are in diaspora, which means in some families it's 50-50, in some families it's 30-70 or 40-60, however way you want to do it, or however family dynamic you must have set up. But all I'm trying to let you know is you guys shouldn't just react to what a woman is saying. Listen, understand, it's her reality. I'm not saying all men are bad. I'm not saying all women. I haven't said that in any way or form. All I'm just trying to say is
After Biola, we
there is a
close.
fault somewhere. There is a fault somewhere. I'm just trying to be very calm and cool today, but there is a fault somewhere, and that's my 2 cents.
I'm glad.
Again,
I'm glad. Sorry, Biola, I had to cut you. I'm glad everybody's agreeing today. I don't want you to continue so that to not turn to more fight. I love what you said. You put in so many things in perspective, but Ada is tired, so because of Ada, we have to close.
Don't put it on me, but I can leave.
So because Ada is so tired, I want us to
Put it on
leave.
me.
Ada is okay. Let's go to bed because of you. Biola, thank you so much. Explicit vibes, thank you so much. The conversation is going to continue, and people are sending me voice notes. People are sending me their stories. The other day I was talking about somebody's story. It can't look like say I formulate them. I told the woman, I say, okay, instead of typing the letter, just send it as voice note. Now you hear the gist. So we're going to continue having these conversations till we all get it right, or at least till we come to a social consensus, and then we can pick things up from there. Good night, everyone. Love you all. It was amazing
Bye,
being with
Daddy
you.
Freeze. Thank you.
Biola,
Bye.
Explicit Vibes. I'm looking forward to hosting you guys very soon again. Ada,
All right. I'll be
John, we're looking for you yesterday. You were not around. Tomorrow we'll make it a day during the day, not at night, because on Fridays I like to spend time with the family. So in the early evening at worst, we're gonna come around, and there's a conversation that somebody sent to me. He said 90% of women and girls in Lagos are complementing their lifestyle with runs, olosho, and hookup. He used the percentage 90%. We'll discuss that tomorrow. Let's go to bed now. Thank you, Biola. Explicit vibes. John.
And if I come live again, I'll be in my car with my sunglasses.
Very
You
good.
guys always see me in this car. If you own it, you said you live inside.
Me too. In fact, tomorrow I'll be doing my live from my own Benz.
Don't worry. I can't wait to treat you well.
I can't wait to be treated well. Ada?
Explicit, I love you.
all right. Thank you. And
I
my
love you.
question,
Bye,
I'll just
Daddy
take my
Freeze.
questions for you till next time.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.